what is your favorite role that Leon played? And Leon, what's your favorite movie that Robert made? Besides, of course, the Five Heartbeats.
Well, Little Richard.
Oh.
That was easy.
See?
That was easy.
And I would say Little Richard. I would say Little Richard.
Little Richard, okay. All right, keep it in the family. Keep it together. I did say just the Five Heartbeats.
That was an easy question.
How was that? How was it playing Little Richard, man? Because, you know, Little Richard, we see that role today differently, all right? That was Little Richard was what? How long ago was Little Richard?
Oh, when it came out?
Yeah, when it came out. When you played that role. 2000? So that was 20 years ago. And of course, the world has changed a lot when it comes to accepting homosexuality. A lot of people coming out. Even back then, there was still taboo. When you played that role and they addressed that, what was that like when you had to go, like you said, the character actor and getting into character for that? What was that like for you?
Well, to be honest with you, they didn't really address it enough. You know, I would have pushed to have it addressed more. And in the book, which it was based off of, there's definitely a lot more of that. But, you know, Robert can also tell you a little bit more about his experience, which I'd actually like to hear about your experience with Little Richard and how everything, because I always tell from my side, you know, because they wanted me to do the movie and, you know, luckily I suggested Robert and they went with Robert. But I don't know how it was from your side, or how it came about.
Let me say this.
What the process was.
Well, you know, let me say this. It was kind of deep because he would get very emotional, you know. So when we would go look at the sets, like we shot when he was a kid and everything that he went through, and I just remember like we were shooting on a back lot somewhere, and we were doing the scene where he was in his family was in a shotgun house, you know, which is like straight down, and he had his brothers and sisters, and we were shooting this one scene, and what would happen is that in the middle of the night shooting, while we were shooting, because we had to shoot when, you know, it's nighttime scene, a white limousine would pull up and then be right on the outside of the set. I'm over here directing, I see the white limousine, and it's him. And then he would never get out. He would watch the scene, and then the car would pull out. And then one time we were doing the scene, and the car pulls up, and this is when he had dressed up in his mother's clothes, and his father beat him to a pulp, you know, and he got out of the car, and then he brought me over and he says, that's exactly how it happened. He just started crying, and then the car pulled off. I mean, he's a very sensitive man. And so he was like, you know, all that stuff about being the architect of rock and roll, he really was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt.
So there's a part of him that feels like he got robbed out of his place in history. And I mean, but like I said, very sensitive man, but you know, when you're around a rock and roll legend, he's a legend. You know, he's got that energy, bigger than life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was really sensitive. Even when I met him before I played the role, and you know, and like he cried, and we were just talking about it. You know, he was cried about, you know, the way he thought that they were trying to portray him. You know, in the previous scripts, you know, and he said he had faith that I would be able to, you know, do something that he could be proud of, because he was good friends with David Ruffin.
Well, that's what I was getting at, is that
he loved what I did with David Ruffin. So he was like, you know,
you knew you give it justice. You would play it with integrity. And
well, you know, the one thing I know, the one thing I remember, I don't know if you remember this, is that I only saw Little Richard on the set one time. I don't know if you remember this, Robert, but I don't know what scene it was, but Little Richard was sitting there, and he was sitting there in the chair. It was with someone else, and I saw him when I came in. And you know, Robert, when I come in, I got the limb, I'm doing everything. I'm like, I'm the guy. You know what I'm saying? So I saw him, and I turned around and went back out the room. And I told the AD, I said, listen, you know, no disrespect, but there can only be one Little Richard on the set.
You played Little Richard. That's it. Robert, wouldn't you say he was playing Little Richard by even saying that?
Well, but you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that when you, like, if you're preparing the way I prepare and believe myself to be this person, I can't look at the real person. He can't be in my eyesight. You know what I'm saying? He can't be in my eyesight when I'm performing. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is, as Little Richard, his attitude is there is no one like me, period, anybody. So I don't even want to see anybody who's in it. You probably looked at him as an imitator.
Yeah, no, he was cool with it because he saw how dedicated I was to it. So he was cool. He understood.